Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkbutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. It's all about retiring products today. So we've got our annual catalogue that's retiring and a new catalogue coming in from the 5th of May. So there are a whole bunch of products now in that last chance list. So if you hop along to the Stampin' Up website and look under deals, they're all the last chance items that are available are listed there. Okay, some of them are discounted, some of them aren't, but yeah, all there for you to have a little look at. And there's some really great stuff there, and once it's gone, it's gone. So one of my favourites that I've used absolutely loads is this lovely bundle, Layers of Beauty. So we've got a lovely detailed stamp suitable for lots of occasions. It's got coordinating dies to go with it, so we'll be using this big die today. I'll just pop that there to use, and then we've got some layering stencils or masks to go with it. So we're using those today to create this card. In the background here we've got a little bit of texture as well, just to give it a little bit of something different in the background. That's using this damask embossing folder. This is part of the Gallery Blooms set of products, which is also retiring, another real favourite of mine that I featured last week. So let's do that. And then the other thing we've got in here is in colours. The retiring in colours are here. Okay, so these are the ones that will be leaving us. We're getting some really lovely new ones, but these ones will be leaving us. Okay, so we're going to be using those. Okie dokie. So let's get cracking. Okay, so we're going to do our stenciling or mask ink blending and stuff first. Okay, so I've just got some scrap paper here and tacked down a piece of white willow cardstock, and the stencils have little numbers in the corner, so hopefully you can catch that there. So I actually like to start with the leaves because that tells me exactly where that's sort of the largest bit, and I know that everything will fit on if I start with this one. So I'm going to pop that into place. So I'm actually going to start with the number 4 stencil. I've got a magnetic work surface, so I'm just using those magnets just to keep that secure for me. And for the leaves then we're going to use the Shy Shamrock and the Summer Splash. So we'll start with Shy Shamrock. Let's just move my sample out of the way just for a second. And I need some scrap paper just to make sure, take off, you know, the excess ink. Let's just grab a blending brush here. So there's probably enough ink on there, but let's just re-ink that. Just ever so, just a light hand I want on this. Okay, so I'm just going to start swirling that on in the background, and you want to go in both directions just to make sure you catch everything. But I only want this to be a light layer really. Okay, so just go around there and then back again, and I don't mind some sort of heavier sections and lighter sections, but if you start light you can always add more. Once you've added it you can't really take it away. Okay, so I think that looks good. That looks good. Just a bit more there. Okay, so that's our Shy Shamrock. Okay, and that's going to give us our lovely pale leaves there. But the detail I'm going to do with the Summer Splash. Okay, so whilst that feels like it might be a blue colour, when you're layering it with the green, that sort of tone really comes through on this ink. So we'll bring out Summer Splash, grab our brush for that. Okay, and again, don't want loads, I just want to go real light, backwards and forwards, clockwise, anti-clockwise. This is probably the one that I've used the most out of this set of ink colours, so this one is not quite as little drier than the other, some of the other colours. Okay, so that looks good. Like I say, so even though that's sort of a bluey green colour, with the shamrock underneath, I think it looks really cool. Okay, lovely colour. Right, flowers then. So on the sample, you can see that the smaller flowers up here were the sort of orange tones, whereas I used the pink tones for these. So I'm just going to switch that around a little bit for this card, just so you get a different look really. So this one will do that sort of background layer for the blooms. Okay, and I'm going to bring in some of the smaller brushes as well, because we need to get into some of that detail, but I need a larger orange one as well. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so what did I say? Pink for the little flowers. Right, so pink then. Little flowers are going to be pink. So I'm going to bring in Pretty in Pink. Probably should use a little brush for this, but I'll pop those over there. And then we'll have this one. I'm not going to worry too much if stuff bleeds into the neighbouring areas. I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so there's our pink flowers there. Okay, I'm going to need a couple of ink pads open at the same time. Runs the risk of misfortune, but we'll just go with it. I'm going to use a small brush to catch these buds and get into that detail. Probably could just use this for the whole lot really, rather than get out a big brush, but you've got the two sizes so that you can kind of get some more control if you want it. So let's just go with that one. And like I say, I'm not worried about bringing in a bit of that pink. But I don't want this layer to be too dark. Not just yet anyway. There we go. Cool. That looks like it's okay. Lovely. Okay. Our next layer is going to pop in some of the details now and sort of intensify some of that colour. Okay, so again we'll I'm going to bring in a bit of the petunia pop on the pink, and again use a smaller brush. This is a really deep colour. Just make sure that's lined up. Better. So again, not too heavy this time. Don't want to lose that pale pink underneath. Okay. And then again, we're going to come in with the peach. So this area here is sort of where that sort of rose is sort of tighter, so I'm going to go a little heavier on those little bits there. And lighter in the middle. But also bring in just a little bit of that pink as well. It's very subtle. Just gives it a different hue. There we go. And then our final layer then. Line this one up. So we've got the centres on these smaller flowers to do. So I'm going to go back to the peach for those. So we've got some contrast there. Nice and heavy with that ink. This one here. This one here. Okay. And then we've got the detail on the rose to do as well. So again, just going heavier in this sort of more detailed bit and fading it out a little bit as we go towards those other sections. And again, I just want to bring in a bit of the pink just to warm it up a little bit. There we go. Let's have a look. So this is an opportunity now where you can think about whether you want to add any more colour to any of the layers in particular. Okay, so those little flowers, I think I want to just put that bit more of that petunia pop in there, just to give that a little bit more of a bit more contrast. So let's just grab that. Again, I don't want it too dark. There we go. That's cool. Just this bit here. Yeah, that'll do. It's just a bit more dramatic. Right, let's pop away all these ink pads before there's a calamity. There we go. And all these masks I'll spritz with water and just wipe clean. They're really, really easy to clean. I can take this off, she says. I'm going to be die cutting this anyway, so the edges won't matter. Okay. So now we've got the scary bit in that we're going to need to put some brushes away. I've got things all over my desk now. Scary bit is putting in the outline. So if you're nervous about doing this, stamp it first and then ink blend over the top. But I'm going to be brave and I'm going to do it over the top of my ink blending. Okay, so we'll secure that with our magnets onto the Stampin' positioner. So this is going to be available in the catalogue that's been released on the 5th of May. But we had the opportunity to purchase this ahead of time and start showing you how to use it. So here we go. So I'm just going to pop that over the top. So you want to take a little bit of time just to make sure you're catching the key areas, and you'll see that your ink sort of extends beyond the edge of the stamp. Obviously this got really stained because I've used it so much. But like I say, you might prefer to stamp first and then blend over the top. Okay, now there's every possibility that the lines are not going to end up where I want them on this. But that just, sometimes this stamp is a little sticky, so it might lift the paper. So I'm just double checking. I'm just putting that over the top, not pressing down, just to check the alignment on that. That still looks good. And I'm going to use Memento ink if I can find it on my desk. Here it is. Got it. To do that, so Memento will no longer be carried by Stampin' Up. We'll be having a hybrid ink available, but you know, any black ink will do this, so use what you have. Okay, and then bring that back in onto those little things. These are like a spring, and we're just going to press down on that nice and firmly, like you would any other kind of acrylic block. If it helps, use your sleeve and just help you to apply that pressure and rub over the top. Okay, now there's loads of gizmos, but your sleeve does the job. There we go. Now the stamping isn't perfect, but I'm going to leave it like that. A little bit there where you know, the line isn't quite as crisp, but I want it to have that sort of sketchy look, so I'm not going to restamp it. But you totally could. You could re-ink that and pop it over the top again and make that a darker outline if you wanted to, but I'm happy with how that looks. Okay, isn't that pretty? Look how different it looks to that. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So obviously that can now be just wiped over and popped away, but we need to die cut this out. So let's grab our die and position that over the top here. So there's all sorts of risk with this. It's like, you know, let's make sure we stamp the outline properly. Now let's make sure we die cut it properly. Okay, but again, just take a second or two just to make sure you've got that lined up. Okay, and we'll get this lovely die cut image. Okay, so let's run that through a cut and emboss machine. Okay, so that's cut beautifully. Okay, I've already die cut from the stylish shapes for the sentiments, but we need to emboss this white panel. So this is what I call a mini panel. This is an inch shorter and narrower than the a card layer. So this is 3 by 4 and 3/4. Like I say, we're going to use this damask what's this called, embossing folder. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this in, and I like to get my piece of cardstock somewhat central when I'm doing this. So just look for some key areas. It don't have to be bang on, but you know, something like straight and even is good. So that will do. Okay, and I'm just following the instructions for a regular embossing folder, using the base plate and 2 of my cutting plates, number 3 plates, to run that through. So all the instructions on how to make each of the sandwiches, as to whether you're embossing or die cutting, are all available directly onto the machine on the base platform. So you don't ever have to remember, you can just refer to that. So we have that beautiful texture. Okay, and we're just going to layer that onto some black. I'm just going to use a tape runner. This isn't a super detailed folder, so you can get away with tape runner. The 3D ones, the tape runner will pull up the cardstock because it's trying to grab onto an uneven surface, but for these ones you can usually get away with it. No one's going to see it if it's a bit banged up anyway. Okay, and then this is going to go flat onto the card base, which I have somewhere. Here it is. So just a basic white card base here. Decide which way up your design is going to go. Now I personally think it goes this way because it almost looks like they are leaves going up into like a sort of tree canopy. So I like to put it that way up. Well, it looks like that to my eye anyway. So let's just get that panel on there as straight as you can. I think that looks good. Okay, and then we can pop our lovely large floral element on there, and I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. So we'll grab those. Yeah, I've got 4 left on here, this sheet. That might be just what we need. Right, so let's do 1 up there, 1 down there, 2 in the middle. Okay, don't need loads. If you're sending it through the post, you might want to pop a few extra ones on so it doesn't get crushed. And then just looking to get that sort of central up and down, left, right, you know, cutting into the border. That looks about right to me. That will do. I didn't put any embellishments on that. Oh, you could put embellishments on there. So we just need to stamp our sentiments. So we've got this lovely Grateful for You, which fits beautifully on this this die cut shape. So we'll just pop that into the middle there. Okay, put a lid on that before that has a mishap as well. And because this is going to go on the end there, I'm just going to use just a little snippet of this, use the edges of your dimensionals and things like that. Just going to pop that at this end here, and we'll pop some tape at this end because we're going to span across here. So I want it to be raised up the same as the flowers, but also make contact with any of these other little bits. So I don't want to cover too many of those. So there we go. That looks about right to me. Beautiful. So of course you could add some embellishments onto that if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave it like that today to just show you the lovely layers of beauty stamp set and coordinating dies and masks to create a lovely floral card. We've got the damask embossing folder, okay, and we've also got the retiring in colours, all working together there to create this look. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I say, don't forget, check out that website, see what's there, and grab that opportunity to get them while you can. Okay, right, thanks ever so much everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again at the next one. Bye bye.